You just hit your knee?
I hit the back of my the Achilles.
Ow.
Fuck.
Leave all
Hi,
that in.
welcome to the Vaguely Anime Podcast. I am one of the hosts this evening, Michael, and I just hurt myself, much like my everyday life. And this is Sage,
That's me.
the other host. And welcome to another Vaguely Anime Reviews special.
Yeah.
The
Marvels.
Marvels.
You got there, buddy.
Yeah, you know. We went and saw the Marvels on
Thursday night.
Thursday night. I believe I'm gonna aim to put this out on Wednesday. So
Okay.
about almost a week ago.
And Mark did not fall asleep a single time.
It's true. That's Mark's review. He didn't fall asleep.
He was entertained. That's what
He
he
was,
said.
yeah.
He said he only falls asleep in movies if he doesn't feel like it's engaging enough, which is not true. He just falls asleep because he has no self-control.
But yeah, so we saw the Marvels, and so we're going to talk about the Marvels.
Yeah.
So I guess the same way we've done in the past, and it kind of works like the Anime Club. We'll talk about generalizing, and then at some point we'll go into spoilers, and there'll be a little spoiler warning. But generally, I think this might be, in terms of movies, not counting TV shows, I think the Marvels is like probably top 3 movies since Endgame has ended.
So since Endgame, so would you say like
No Way
between
Home,
phases 4 and
yeah, phases
now
4
that
and
we
5.
are in 5?
Yeah. So it would be whatever the fuck those movies are, but yeah, from Endgame being over, so after Endgame, all the movies that have come out, I think I'd say top 3, maybe 4, but I think because No Way Home and Guardians 3 are 1 and 2. Where in that specific order? Not entirely sure. I think No Way Home's probably above Guardians 3, but I'm not sure yet. But I think I like Quantumania, but I think that the Marvels would beat it just on the fact that it's a much quicker watch alone.
Well, it's quicker, but I also feel in terms of story, I feel like there's a lot less work for the Marvels, whereas Quantumania, because we are meeting like a really large cast of brand new characters that we'd never seen before, they had to spend like a good portion of the movie doing setup so you can like care about these people.
Right.
Where here in the Marvels, I feel like they didn't have to do as much work. And even when like they had...
The funniest thing is the most work they do isn't for the TV show characters. It's for Captain Marvel.
Yeah, because she just hasn't been around in a long time.
Like literally, like this isn't a spoiler. It literally happens in the very beginning. But
Yeah,
like
this
they
is
just
in the first
recap.
5
Yeah, they
minutes.
just like recap the entire first,
They're just
entire
like,
Captain Marvel
hey,
movie.
you remember that Captain Marvel movie we put out a while ago? Well, if you didn't watch it, here's a quick summary.
Which is so funny because they really don't do a summary for Kamala Khan or
Monica
Monica
Rambeau.
Rambeau, like at all. Like they just kind of they're there.
But I feel like the reason why they probably don't do their...
But it works. It's not.
No,
a bad
it works.
Thing. Yeah.
But I
But I also watched them. So.
Yeah, I feel like they definitely didn't do the recap because Monica was in WandaVision, and then Kamala Khan, she had her own show, obviously, but those were all in Phase 4, so that was like super recently.
But I will say,
'Cause
the buy-in, people are complaining about the fact that the buy-in from Marvel is getting so high that you would think they'd want to recap it because so many people just don't bother watching because it's just too much.
I mean, I guess that's fair, but I feel like
there's homework for movies now.
Maybe because I'm the kind of person where maybe because now I'm like caught up, but even when movies I wasn't caught up with, like watching when I watched Multiverse of Madness, I wasn't caught up with all the stuff.
Right.
But like either you're not going to get the reference, which is fine, or you can just piece things together because some of it's just common sense, you know?
No, yeah, I
don't think they do a bad job in terms of, even if you didn't watch the previous stuff, you can still enjoy. It's still an enjoyable standalone thing.
No, I agree.
In my opinion.
I say that people have a problem with the buy-in, and to be fair, I do agree to an extent. But
I also agree.
And so, I mean, it's not an uninformed point of going to the movie because I did watch those things to know them. So I can't really say that it does a good job of making them feel like they exist or not because I'm like already familiar. But it didn't feel like you would be just like, who the fuck is this person? It was just like, I guess they exist. All right. Like, it just kind of like felt like they just were there. And not in a way that you're like, what is happening? Why is this person? It's just like, oh, all right, new person.
Right.
Which I mean, I don't think is a bad thing at all. It's just something that I think is interesting is the fact that they were like, either you watched it or you didn't. You don't get something that's on you. But they were like, with Captain Marvel, they were like, all right, yeah, we gotta.
I feel like the buy-in argument, if you will, since essentially Phase 3 has been something that people were saying and complaining about. You know what I mean? Because you had Phase 1 where you get to the first Avengers movie, and that was not like a thing people were doing. You know what I mean? So when that first Avengers movie came out, everyone was like, oh shit, they're doing like a team up with these characters that they had standalone movies for, right? Then you move into Phase 2 where they're still putting out new heroes, but they're also doing team up again.
Yeah.
Right? But because at that time, I think everything was movies, and in my opinion, I said this before too, about Phase 4 especially, it was just so quick in comparison to everything they had done before.
Yeah.
I think that's where people are saying that the buy-in is too much now, because there's just less time between everything.
Yes, but I also think people were saying it during Phase 3, but I feel like it's a different kind of buy-in now.
Oh, it's definitely different.
Because of the shows. The shows take so much more of your time.
Yeah, because
than just having to sit down and watch a movie.
The average Marvel movie is what, 2 hours? Yeah. 2.5 hours?
Around there.
Whereas the TV shows are at least 6 hours of content because each one is an hour long. It's 6 episodes. Yeah. Except for WandaVision, which is 9 episodes. Mm-hmm. But I don't think they're all hour-long episodes.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Either way. I actually, yeah, so I was saying that I think it might be, or like my top 3 in terms of movies specifically. Mm-hmm. Edging out Quantumania or Multiverse of Madness. And just because, again, it's a quick watch. Like, it's the shortest Marvel movie they've made.
It was really quick.
Yeah, it was very quick. I do think, to an extent, how quick it is does hurt it a bit. It moves very fast. And it feels like it could have used a little bit of breathing room just to have some things flesh out a little more. Because it just feels like you're just like, scene, joke, scene, joke. Like, and then the ending is just kind of like, it's over.
I feel like for me, that if they were going to give more time,
it should have been to what
I think
causes the story. Like we get that flashback, which we'll not say yet, but like that seems such a big deal that like that should have been
important.
Yeah, like that would have been like a whole nother movie.
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like it needed to give more time to that flashback that you're referencing, but also I feel like it's weird. Like, this is now 2 movies that are Carol Danvers focused, and I still feel like I know so little about her compared to other Marvel characters.
It really feels like they still don't know what to do with her.
Yeah, and it's weird because people, I feel like, kind of shit on Brie Larson.
It's not on her.
Especially during the promotions for the first Captain Marvel movie, and people were saying she's so arrogant, this, that, the other thing. But, like, when you write her character to be nothing,
yeah,
like, what is she supposed to do with that? And she's a very talented actress.
Yeah.
And, like, she's not in the writer's room, you know what I mean?
Like, yeah, no, Brie Larson, I love Brie Larson. It's just the
character
nothing that she has to work with is like, in this movie, she has more of a character, but I still feel like it's a bit down.
I feel like
than others in the movie.
And you know what's so funny? So the other day I just watched Far From Home.
Okay.
Um,
Proud of you.
Thank you, because it's on Disney Plus now. I just watched it the other day in my catching up on my homework, if you will.
Yeah. Which is funny because I was just editing the episode where you were watching Winter Soldier.
Oh.
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah. But, which I finished that too, actually.
What did you think of their thing with Sharon? Real quick. Were you annoyed about what they did with her?
I just feel like they make her kind of like, it's weird because they do a 180 on her character, but not to make her like tough and strong, but just like kind of bitchy, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
That's why I was saying it bothered me.
It kind of puts a bad taste in your mouth, but this is not about that. But yeah, so what I was getting to is Jake Gyllenhaal is like the villain, but his character,
Spoilers.
if nobody else is behind me, okay? Let's be real.
Well, also just the fact that he's Mysterio. I mean,
Right. But so in that movie, I feel like they could have gone one of two ways, and they could have had like a similar Carol Danvers situation happen with his character in the way that they decide to like write him and play him, but they chose not to do that.
gotcha.
And I feel like he's really good in that role, and he balances that fine line of like, oh, he's a nice hero. Like, he wants to mentor him and support him, but why does he seem slightly fishy?
Right.
And then you get to, like, the turn of him being fishy, and then it's just, like, super hammed up.
Yeah.
Which I think that's what's missing from Carol Danvers, especially in comparison to what we have, what they've built, essentially, for the MCU is a part of it is meant to be hammy
Right.
because it's comic books, and comic books are pretty ridiculous usually.
Yeah.
And even like, I think Marvel in general balances ham and real human tangible things really well.
Depending on the movie, but yeah.
Depending on the movie, obviously. I'm not saying everything is a 10 out of 10.
Thor, usually just hammy.
Exactly. But you know what I mean? Like, but with Captain Marvel, which is so weird that they choose to do this with only one character, right? They don't give her anything. They don't even give
Yeah,
her
they stole her memory. She
they-
couldn't even do it if she wanted to.
But you know what I mean? Like, they don't even give her like the human connection part of it.
Yeah.
Where like, it's not like we don't have serious characters in the MCU. Like, you understand Nick Fury, he's a very serious character. He's like essentially the head guy, you know, at the desk type deal. But he's still funny and hammy
Yeah.
when it needs to be. But they don't give her any of that.
Yeah, it like in this movie it is better than in the first. And that's going for, I did not like the first movie. And that doesn't have to do with all the fucking bullshit about Brie Larson and whatnot. But it just was a boring movie to me. This movie feels like she feels more of like an actual person. But and that's great. But it's still, she does still feel like the weakest like written character just because of how they write her, that like she just feels like she's still not connecting,
Right.
which is again like on purpose for the way they wrote it, because she still doesn't have memories and whatever, but like,
But I need
But
it
that's
to be
boring.
deeper than that.
right, like, but it's like, that's boring. Like, just don't make that be a thing, you know? Like, because it just, or it should have been figured out in the first or something. It just like there's no connection that's happening. They're just using the fact that she has no memories as a brick wall between it, instead of like letting things slip through and have her experience things.
And even with the whole like, oh, she lost her memories, right? They don't even give her the chance to be like, I've lost my memories, but I want to know what kind of person I was. And like things like that, right? So in the when you have the first movie and she's going through that like essentially like memory montage, if you will, of her getting back up. And that's the other thing. They do it so fucking corny. I think that's why Captain Marvel doesn't work in that first movie. They make her a wooden plank from Ed, Ed and Eddie, but then they make everything so fucking corny.
Yeah.
Like so on the nose.
All
where-
the versions of her standing.
Yeah, and then I'm just a girl playing in like that big fight song. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Forgot about that.
it's just so on the nose, where at least in the Marvels it's less obvious, which is nice. But at the same time, unlike other Marvel characters, I don't know why she cares about being a hero. Like, yeah, she has essentially god powers, but I don't see there's nothing that points me to like a desire for her to want to help
I didn't
people.
even think about that. You're right. That is something that is absolutely missing from her.
We walked out of that movie and I was thinking about that. Like the whole time I was thinking about it, I was like, okay, so we see oh no, I don't want to go into spoilers just yet, but when we see Monica and Kamala, I can understand why they want to be heroes. Kamala obviously idolizes Carol Danvers. She wants to be just like
Which
her.
I would like to point out is kind of weird in the MCU because Carol's been on Earth a solid once.
She was on Earth technically for Endgame.
A solid twice.
A solid twice, baby.
But like, nobody knew that she existed in the 90s.
Right.
Because people thought Iron Man was the first hero.
Right.
And
because Nick Fury doesn't even start like the whole Avengers thing until Carol.
Yeah. But nobody, like the general public didn't know about Carol.
Right.
And then Endgame happens, and she's really only around for the final fight that wasn't being recorded. So, like, how do people know about Carol? Like, enough that she has multiple posters around.
Okay, so
like,
I was thinking about this actually while I was watching Miss Marvel. Because I was like, let me just get this out of the way, because I only watched like half of it when it first came out, and I was like, yeah, whatever. But then for the Marvels, I wanted to just finish it off.
Right.
Which actually I like that show. Very nice small scale problem.
Until it isn't.
Which I think this is the funniest shit in the world. They're like, our dimension
Spoilers for Miss Marvel
is gonna get swallowed up by their dimension, right? But then you also have this, by comparison, tiny damage control problem, and the way they choose to like rectify these two situations, it was just really funny to me. I didn't really mind it because I don't think Kamala's character at that point is ready for that kind of threat, so her not solving it makes sense, somebody else doing it makes sense.
Right. She got really good at fighting between movies, by the way. Between the show and the movie.
Yeah, I just assume she did a lot more rooftop training.
Yeah, she trained herself to be a fucking super spy. Goddamn, like.
But yeah, so back to what I was saying about Carol doesn't feel like she wants to be a hero. So
Still don't understand how she ended up being idolized. I'm just saying.
But right,
like it just in the MCU, it feels odd.
I think you're correct. But like Kamala, she idolizes Carol. She idolizes Captain Marvel, and so it makes sense that she wants to be a hero. She wants to do something good. So when she gets her powers, she's like, oh shit, I can do good for other people and aspire to be like Captain Marvel. Right. So that makes sense for her to why she wants to help people, why she wants to be a hero. And then Monica, she goes, up the ranks in the military and the Air Force or whatever. Then she gets her powers and she can, because she's always a good person at heart, it feels like.
She's more on a government end where she's like just there to help make sure the process continues.
Right. She's on a government end, but she's like the good side.
Yeah. She's there to make sure that the good process continues to work.
Right. So then when she gets her powers, even though she's not fighting physical threats, she's still trying
she ain't going onto the streets and beating up muggers.
Right. But she's still like, she wants to have change that leads to good.
Yeah.
In like the ordered way, if that makes sense. So that makes sense for her to why she wants to help people, essentially. Yeah. But then when you get to Carol, who's the main character of the movie, I can't give you a single reason why Carol cares about helping people at all. Because even in Captain Marvel, in the flashbacks, with her constantly standing back up or whatever, and her in the military training, and her and Hala and all this stuff, none of it shows to me that she's like wanting to be better so she can help people. She just wants to prove to others that she's not weak.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But those two things do not equal each other.
Yeah. No, I never even thought about that. You're right. They've never really given us a reason for her to be doing any of it.
She doesn't feel like she even cares about protecting things. Because can we go into spoilers so I can like further elaborate on what I'm talking about?
I feel like we should still kind of...
Okay. We'll stay with the overall. But I'll come to this point later when we get back to spoilers.
Write it down so you don't forget.
Okay.
While you're doing that, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. To be fair, I will say the hero thing that is important, but for the movie, it's whatever. And Kamala Khan's thing, that's just mostly a nitpick. I just kind of thought about it on the moment where I was like, why is she idolizing this person that's maybe been on Earth twice?
Right.
Like, but I think in general, like it's quick, it's very fun, and it like I do think the redesigned costumes not that great. I think Miss Marvel's Kamala's looks better, the one that she made, than the $1 billion one that she gets.
The one that her mom
the
gets
one in the
for
promotional
her.
stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah. The one that like the one that she has in the TV show.
Yeah, the one that her mom gets for her
is better than the ones that she gets in the promotional images. Like, Carol's also gets a downgrade, but it's sad because it's a great look of a suit. We've gone through this before, but it's a great look of a suit. It just needed to be brighter. It's too dark. And Monica's is
just kind of bland.
Yeah, it's just kind of eh.
Like, I can understand why they went for the black and white, but it's
because it is her costume. It just
the overall.
They could have went with a different design or made the symbol bigger, like something.
Yeah, I felt like the symbol was really small because you have Kamala who has the giant lightning bolt, and then they make actually even Carol's symbol much bigger because in the original costume from Captain Marvel, it's much smaller because she's using the hollow suit.
Yeah.
So yeah, Monica's feels like really tiny.
Yeah, like it should have just been bigger. Also, the weird shoulder pads.
Yeah.
Feel odd.
It's giving 80s.
Yeah. But I enjoy the story. I think its ending just kind of feels a little flat.
Well, it's really fast.
Yeah, it's really fast, and it just, I don't know, like it doesn't feel satisfying.
I noticed that too when we were getting towards the end. I was thinking to myself, they said this is a short movie, but I don't know how you're supposed to end it in this way.
Yeah, and then
it just ended.
And then things just kind of get resolved like immediately.
Yeah.
And
no fallout, no nothing.
No, not really.
Which is weird for a Marvel movie, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, like again, even all that said, maybe it's just like I was entertained. I had fun. Again, I think the length really helps.
Yeah.
I don't really get a lot of the hate. Like when we get into spoilers, I will bring up things I have problems with it. But like I do think it was genuinely a fun movie to watch.
I think it was fun, and if I have to guess why it's getting hate, I'm gonna guess two things. One, I personally think the trailer does it a disservice.
I don't know if I watched the trailer.
I just saw them like on TV kind of a thing, and I think the trailers.
Oh, and the switching aspect was very fun.
I think the trailers do it a disservice in that it makes it feel like, you remember the trailers for Love and Thunder, and how it was just kind of like cringy the way they were editing the scenes and stuff, and it was all the jokes essentially. So I feel like they kind of did the same thing here. But this movie has a lot less jokes than Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
And there's still comedic moments, but it's not that same tone.
Yeah.
Overall. So I feel like the trailer did it a disservice. And if I have to guess why people are hating on it, second reason.
Sexism.
I don't think so at this point, because
I
feel like
hate Brie Larson as Captain Marvel.
Right.
There is a vast majority.
Right.
Of
people
minority.
dislike Brie Larson as Captain Marvel, but again, I don't think that's Brie Larson's fault.
Nope. They're just sexist.
But is because at this point it's funny. People want to have their cake and eat it too, and that they want to complain that Marvel is requiring too much homework for their projects. But at the same time, if they do things that are different or they don't elaborate on every tiny detail, they're going to complain about it. So it's like a double-edged sword, essentially.
Yeah.
Does Marvel let go of such tight continuity and just make it easier for standalone films to be enjoyed by the general public? Or do they try and further, feed the fans kind of a thing,
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess generally, I really like the movie. I give it a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
It is number 16 in my Marvel rankings.
Okay.
Out of all 43. of which number 42 is the first Captain Marvel. So
What's 43?
Hulk.
Oh, that's fair.
And it's beaten out by Loki and Moon Knight, which Moon Knight I feel like might be lower than where I have it. I didn't actually get through rewatching it.
I was gonna say, I feel like Moon Knight for me is definitely lower.
Yeah, I feel like I actually have to rewatch it. Like I started rewatching it and then I just didn't actually finish it because I sidetracked myself and I was like, I had already gone through from the beginning to Moon Knight and I got burnt out and I was like,
yeah, that's understandable.
But yeah, so it is number 16. I think it's just a fun, easy watch.
No, it's a really enjoyable movie. I think. I also, in my
Kamala
opinion,
was very fun.
I think, in my opinion, if you want to watch any standalone Marvel, if you want to just watch the movies, even this movie, I think, is very easy to watch just the movie.
I would agree
because they explain everybody's powers right off the bat. They explain like here's a super quick like here's what's happening. Here are the people that are important into it. You know.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, with that, spoilers from here on out.
Okay.
So leave if you haven't watched it. Yeah.
Okay. Back to what I was saying about Carol. Okay, so when we have that flashback of her and being the Annihilator, which
again seems like it should have been a movie in itself.
So I remember when we were watching it and they said it the first time, I was like, that's an aggressive nickname. It's not a very nice name.
Well.
And then she was like, I don't like that name. And I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, well, maybe we'll find out why. But then the movie kept going and I was like, are we just not going to find out? What the fuck? But then we get into the flashback and it's her destroying the Unimind or whatever they call it.
The supercomputers, the
mega intelligence. I don't know what they call it. I know it has a name. Sorry. But yeah, so she goes to destroy because she wants to like free everyone on Hala.
Intelligence.
Supreme intelligence. I was pretty close. I said mega.
Sure.
So when she goes to destroy the supreme intelligence, and then they're saying like, oh, because you did that, like you destroyed our planet, right? And now we have no sunlight, no air, and no water, and we're gonna all die. I don't know that needed to be a whole movie about her destroying the supreme intelligence, but I did need it to be more than like a 3-minute flashback.
It feels like it's such a big deal. Like
the implications.
The doing it and the fallout feels like it could be a movie.
The implications of Carol being like, I'm gonna rescue. I want to know. Okay, here's her. She's like, okay, I'm gonna go and liberate this entire planet. She goes and does it.
Entire race, because they're spread out among planets.
Right. And she goes and does it, but then it further fucks them even more. How did she feel about that? I need to know anything about how she feels about anything.
Well, we know that she doesn't like the name Annihilator.
I know. I know.
That's it.
And I know she's like, well, I didn't mean for that to happen, but I felt like I was helping you. That's all we get.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I just needed it to be, even if they made the movie 15 minutes longer and they just made that flashback like an extended flashback, or even if they opened the movie with that sequence and then we do a time skip to present day, right? Like, I would have been okay with that. I just needed more explanation, and I needed them to tell me why I need to care about Carol and why she cares about being a hero.
Yeah,
I didn't get any of it.
It's so weird because like she has multiple scenes where she runs in, kills the Supreme Intelligence, and then leaves, and it just fucks everybody over. And it's so many things that you feel like you should know about that. And then the end of the movie just ends with her going to the fucking Hala like instantaneously and restarting their sun and then leaving. And you're like,
again, major implications.
Like. You could have done that. She said she doesn't think she could have done that, but like still, like Jesus Christ, like.
So I was,
and and then it's over. She flies. They see her fly across the planet into the sun. The sun starts. She leaves. End. And you're like.
So I was actually, and I even asked you this right after the movie ended. I said, does Captain Marvel have an infinite amount of power?
And I think my answer was just she is one of the strongest members or strongest.
You said
people in the
basically
thing. But
yes.
Yeah, but I was like, yeah, basically.
Because something I noticed,
As far as I am aware, I'm not the biggest Marvel nerd.
but something I noticed during this movie, I was like, Captain Marvel's powers are weirdly absorbable, like too absorbable. So I kept thinking the crux of this movie was going to be that Captain Marvel eventually ran out of power. And like the villain with her stupid bangle and hammer was going to be like, ha ha, now I have all your power. This is where I
Tom
was.
Hiddleston's wife.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that. But
He
yeah,
really won there.
he really did. But I only know her from Handmaid's Tale. But anyway, so I was expecting the movie to go there. So I kept thinking, okay, she's going to run out of power now. Okay, she's going to run out of power now. And then you get to the end where Monica's like, okay, I'm going to absorb your powers and go into this jump point thing that's collapsing on the universe and close it. And I have to do it from the inside. Okay.
Yeah, which didn't make
that
much
felt
sense.
so stupid to me. I was like,
it
I know.
felt like the justification was not there.
You know when, and I don't know if this is just because I'm not like 7 anymore and I can think critically, but when you see things that are like setups, but they're super obvious setups,
like the way they show it too feels like she absolutely could have just done it from the outside.
right?
like
Because it was coming inward.
And what's funny is Carol goes rushing to her to stop her, and she doesn't make it in time.
Yeah.
But then immediately following that scene, Kamala's like, Fury's like, where's Danvers? And Kamala's like, she had to go fix something. Cut to, she's already across the multiple galaxies to Hala.
Yeah.
And you're like, you couldn't reach the person that was like maybe one planet away from you?
But,
maybe.
But anyway.
Not even.
So anyway, Monica's like, I'll absorb your powers. And it's not even just Carol's powers, it's also Kamala's.
It's the
so
power
I'm
of the
thinking,
what the fuck are they called? Cosmic bracelets or whatever.
Yeah. So I was thinking, I was like, oh, okay. So Carol is gonna give Monica all her powers, and maybe she'll just have like an inkling left, right? And then she'll have to rebuild and find herself and connect with her human side, because she's been living essentially as a god for 30 years, right? So I was like, oh, that would be so good. And then it didn't happen. She just gave Monica a shitload of power and was like, oh, I still have enough power to generate and restart an entire sun.
The quantum bands.
What?
Uh-huh.
Like, that's I think in part why people are so not into it with Captain Marvel, because when you give a character infinite power, and from what we've seen,
she never struggles.
From what we've seen so far, she doesn't have a single weakness.
Nope.
So
Tanked the fuck out of Thanos.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, compared to every other hero,
If she was there when Thanos first showed up, she would have stopped it. Nothing makes us believe she wouldn't.
right? Like, and especially if it's like,
Which I guess you could also argue with Thor, because he did just kind of show up and one hit Thanos too.
True.
He just missed.
right. But also Thor is, but that makes
Well,
sense.
no,
though.
that's not true, because he did lose on the ship.
True.
So.
But also I feel like Thor and Captain Marvel being able to go one-on-one with Thanos makes sense, especially even if he has like some of the stones, not all of them, but you know, maybe some.
Right.
Them being able to go up against him one-on-one makes sense because they're both gods.
Yeah.
And then when Captain America gets Mjolnir and he has the power of the gods, he's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
Power
still
of the
just
aliens.
yeah, he's still just a person,
Right.
but you know what I mean.
Yeah. But yeah, it just like, yeah, I don't know. It's a hindrance against, but Carol is also pretty fun in the movie too, like because of her weird stoicism, especially on the singing planet.
Oh yes.
Like that entire sequence, very fun.
I think
Also totally just there because they were like, "Hey, Brie Larson, you can sing."
so.
Sing.
So I thought that sequence was really fun, and I think her being kind of stoic and standoffish.
Pretty dress.
Yeah, I really like that transition too. That was really cute. But like that works well bounced off of especially Kamala because she's just this like 17-year-old motor mouth, which again,
How much is this fueling your fanfiction? A lot.
but you know what I mean? Like, so that dynamic I like. And it's funny because I like that dynamic, but then I feel like sometimes Monica feels like the odd man out. But then in other scenes, Monica and Carol are having these like really emotional moments together where Carol's like in Monica's memories and Monica's like, could you fucking not? And then Kamala's just there. And I'm like, that seems extremely awkward.
It also is those moments where like Monica feels real, but Carol still has that disconnect.
Yeah.
Where like you're just like, again, it's not Brie Larson's fault. It's just like, Jesus Christ, let this character emote. Like,
No, that's the problem.
yeah, like it's so like there's that, and then, but like again, I think that the movie still has so many high points. Like Nick Fury is hilarious basically the entire time. He's great. The first fight scene especially. Fantastic.
That first fight scene I think works so well because I remember when it first started, I remember being like, wait, did they just teleport? Like, how did they get here? And then it keeps going, and it's very fast paced, but the shots like kind of linger.
Literally, I said this to Sage when we were leaving the theater. I was like, in the first fight, there's a moment where Kamala like does the every woman's fight move where she jumps up, gets somebody between their legs, then somersaults and throws them. And,
you do the Black
like,
Widow.
Yeah, and like every other movie, like literally, she goes for it, and I'm like, oh, okay, we're about to get a cut here and a cut there, and then she grabs the dude, goes for the twist. I'm like, oh, all right, well, here's gonna be the cut when she throws him. Nope, full one shot, throws the dude. I was like, oh my god, a Marvel movie that didn't cut.
And you know what's
Like-
so funny with that too? Like, I noticed that too. I was like, whoa, these shots are surprisingly long.
Yeah.
Because you expect, and I think it's just something that they've gotten better with over time. Because the first time we see that Black Widow legs around the neck throwing somersault type deal, it is a million fucking cuts.
Well, it depends on the project because they still do it.
Oh yeah, a lot.
So like, it really just depends. But like, I don't know. That first fight scene especially. There was another fight. I don't know if it was the last or the middle one.
In
where
the space station?
I don't remember. There was one where it was like it did feel like it was cutting a bit again. Where I was like, all right.
I think the fight that they have with the villain, and I'm so sorry, I don't remember her name. I'm sorry, this villain mildly irrelevant.
She again, like all Marvel villains, and she dies at the end because no villain needs to fucking stay around, I guess.
Like, I'm sorry.
Although of all the villains that would stay around, it shouldn't be her anyway. So
You know what I mean?
yeah, because
But-
she's just so whatever.
But anyway, so the fight with her at the end was very weird to me. In that it's again that same thing that happened in Miss Marvel. They're fighting. It seems like she's getting the upper hand, and then she just gets hit a little too hard, and then she's dead. And I was like, wait, what? That's
Yeah.
how you're ending this fight?
And I will say that final fight felt like it could have used a little bit better of just like sticks just staying on a shot, because it feels like the way that they're jumping around it a little bit feels like it loses where like it for me, maybe just at least it felt like you were losing like situational awareness.
Yeah,
of
it's
where
hard
they
to keep
were.
track of where people
Yeah, because
are.
especially because they kept like teleporting and with the cuts where you're like, I don't know where people keep ending up. So I will say that
But the first fight where they were glitching out between Kamala's house.
I think it's because they're
and-
all separate. They're all separated.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Because that was really easy
was
to
a
keep track
fantastic
of,
fight, yeah.
in my opinion, at least.
I think it's just because they didn't have to think about the fact that 3 different people are switching between positions while fighting one person.
But I feel like when they have that little training montage and they're trying to get used to the powers, and it's all 3 of them with the juggling of the balls and stuff like that, which I thought was really cute. I really like that training montage. It gives Carol a moment to feel like a human and a
Yeah.
person, which was really nice.
Also, continuity errors. Kamala's hair kept going from dry to wet.
But you know what I mean? Like, that training montage, I feel like it was really easy to keep track of everybody. But this final fight, I think the problem also is they had it in like this really weirdly close box corridor almost.
Yeah, just in a ship's room.
You know what I mean?
In the command
Whereas
center.
even in like the space station, when that fight is happening, that's at least like a circular room,
Yeah.
and there's like a pillar in the center, so you can like keep going in circles.
Yeah, in the elevator.
You know what I mean? But this like box room made it really awkward.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
And but yeah, and like, but it also it does feel like it undercuts a little bit of the weight of things sometimes. Like there's the moment with Kamala when they're on one of the scroll havens, and they're like, we just have to leave.
Yeah.
Sorry. And like she just has to sit there and like watch people die.
Yeah.
Like it feels like that should have a bit more weight than it does. It kind of feels like
agree.
she's sad about it for a scene or two, and then it's over.
I agree.
Like, and it's kind of the same with when it's reversed, when she's like, I made a judgment call just like you would have.
Right.
When they leave the water planet.
Yeah.
And it feels like they're mad for a scene and then it's over. Like that's where I'm saying, like I feel like the movie could have been longer.
Well,
It just feels like some of the emotional beats were just cut so short.
I agree, and I think a large part of that is because I think they have this very short run time, and they did have to spend at least 5 minutes of it recapping, essentially. At least for Captain Marvel.
For her movie and everything that leads up to this.
But you know what I mean? Like, I think because they wanted to do it short and sweet, and I do appreciate actually that this feels like it doesn't feel like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. It does have, in my opinion, I felt like it flowed really well.
It does flow very well. I would agree.
And it didn't ever, for me at least, it didn't feel like it was like, okay, character moments, setup, interactions, battle, follow through,
Right.
battle.
Right.
You know, like I think everything in that way flowed really well, but I think the detriment of it is that you don't get those slower moments.
Yeah.
Where you feel like there should be fallout for someone's decisions when an entire race is just getting fucking annihilated.
Yeah, like there's a B plot with the parents and Nick Fury, which is funny and enjoyable, but I do feel like almost like they could have benefited from almost not having it just to have more time with the team to have those moments. I don't know if that feels like it would be.
In my opinion, I personally did not like having Kamala's family there. It felt so weird to me.
It felt like it was weirdly endangering them for no reason.
Like when Nick Fury is like, "Oh, come up on this space station." I'm like, that seems wildly irresponsible. Even if you think nothing is going to happen, why would you let them on this super secret space station?
Like literally when Monica is like, when Kamala asks what, it's not sword. What is it? They use the other space prevailing acronym. It's not sword.
Spear?
No, I don't think it was spear.
Shard?
Fucking God.
I know it's not. I feel like it's spear. What?
Keep talking.
Oh, sorry. I feel like it's spear, but I'm probably wrong. But yeah, like her parents being there with like the brother, and I did notice this was funny to me. I was like, wait, where's the brother's wife?
Yeah, no.
She just disappeared.
Yeah. But like,
which I thought was really funny.
Whatever the fuck it's called. Saber?
Saber sounds right.
I don't remember. Whatever.
I'm confident with Saber. We're going with Saber.
Yeah, not the point. But like where Kamala's like, what's that stand for? And Monica answers and he's like, and Nick Fury snaps and like, that's classified. And then all of a sudden he's taking the parents up there.
Like that's what I was thinking. I was like
it was kind of funny. They had some good bits, but like I didn't really need it.
I agree. I think I actually really like the energy that her parents give. I actually really enjoyed them in the show. In Miss Marvel, I felt like they did a really good job balancing like, oh my God, this is what it feels like to be 16 again. I hate it here.
Right.
But also I felt like they balanced that with like supportive emotional growth, like you're a teenager but we love and care about you and want to like cherish you, but we understand that you're becoming an adult, right?
Yeah.
So they balance those moments really well. So I like her parents. I just don't know that I needed them to be in this movie
It was Saber.
outside of the beginning. See, that's why I said confident about Saber.
Yeah. It's both Sword and Saber. Sword was also used at one point.
Oh, well, there you go.
Because Sword is in...
WandaVision.
Yeah, WandaVision. So it leads to Saber, yeah.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Anyway. But yeah, I just feel like her parents, her family rather, because the brother is there too. It just feels kind of ham-fisted almost.
Yeah, like I like that they're there, but it feels like they shouldn't be.
I feel like the second there was danger present, Nick Fury should have been like, I'm sending your asses home.
Right.
Bye.
Yeah. And well, like that's why I'm like kind of torn where it was like it could almost benefit from that not being there at all, so there
And
could be
using
more
the time.
Yeah. But I feel like you would have lost a little bit from it. So like I don't know.
It's
I
a
don't know
double-edged
what,
sword,
I don't know
'cause-
what the right call for that was.
Because they add charm and cheekiness,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I prefer to get a little bit more insight about like Carol as a person and
Right.
her thoughts and
Like it
how
felt
she
like
feels
yeah,
about things.
Like it felt like the justification for the B plot was just for the whole thing with Goose.
Yeah.
Where I could have done without it.
In my opinion, Goose, that whole sequence where they're trying to get everybody into the baby Flurkins.
Yeah, the kitten Flurkins.
The kitten Flurkins, and they have memories playing from Cats the musical. I think that's a really funny sequence, especially because they're doing like this super dramatic slow version of the song.
Yeah.
I think it's really funny. I think the setup for it is really funny. I really enjoyed it.
That's fair.
Like, is it completely ridiculous and stupid? Yeah, but
They're
is it
really good at herding cats.
Is it hilarious? Yes.
Or well, yeah. Apparently, Flurkin's much easier to herd than cats, I guess. Because
No, I think Flurkins are more like dogs, like I had said to you, because when she's on the ship with Goose, he's turning on the coffee, he's doing all sorts
but
of
then
stuff.
he also does a cat thing where he just sees the buttons on the console and was like, buttons.
Now, I don't know if there's an answer for this. Are Flurkins always exterior cats?
I've never heard of a Flurkin before in the movie. So
Oh, okay. I didn't know if they existed somewhere else in like MCU context. Because maybe they just take on attributes for whatever their like exterior form is. Yeah, does that make sense?
I guess Flurkins do exist. Yeah, they showed up for the first time in 2006 in Giant Size Miss Marvel with Carol before she got her costume changed too when she was in the old black one.
Ah,
So, I also really like that suit. It is one of those like suits that's like, that's a dude designed that suit for a woman, but it is a very nice design. Like just the black, the gold, the red. It's very nice.
I like that suit because I really like actually like this kind of halter faux turtleneck neckline
Right.
on women in general. I think it's really flattering.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that outfit.
It's funny because I've seen 3 different comic writers recently, all of which are female, on Twitter recently be like, I do like this Carol's design. And
It's
being like,
really cute.
Yeah, and all of them also being like, but I do think her current design is fantastic.
Yeah.
But the old one's good.
The thing is, I feel like a lot of, especially older female costumes or female character costume designs, which were very obviously designed by men for men. Mm-hmm. I get why people are like, can we not? But at the same time, I am an 80-year-old man on the inside, so I'm like, more of that, please.
You could have just been like, I'm not straight, so
That works too. But like, I have always loved like the
Starfire,
sexy,
Miss Marvel,
yeah, like more sexy, which I get. Is it impractical as shit? Yeah. Is it completely ridiculous? Again, yes. Do I love it? For sure.
Yeah. But yeah, like I feel like we've been poking holes in the movie the entire time, like, but like I don't know. Like, there are problems, absolutely,
Right.
And objectively, there are a lot. But like, it was still very fun. Like,
Oh.
I don't want to like underplay how fun of a movie it is.
This is what what I wanted to say actually. This movie and just I think Marvel in general, one thing I really appreciate is that they continuously have creativity. I really appreciate it because I think they could so easily make things like feel standard and bogged down, if that makes sense. So like even the sequence when they're at the planet where their language is singing, like they don't just make it people who just sing. Like they're going all out. Everything is like it's a water planet. Everything is water based. They all sing. They have super elaborate
The
costumes.
bilingual joke, very funny.
Bilingual, very funny, but you know what I mean? Like the costumes were super elaborate, but they also felt like a real world's culture.
Yeah.
You know, like that's one thing I appreciate from Marvel a lot that I don't know. I feel like I don't hear that a lot from other people.
Yeah.
But they always keep that high level of creativity, which I love because it's just such a visual spectacle to look at.
Yeah.
And I think that's why these movies work. And in this movie in particular, like you were saying with Carol's costume being a little too dark, I feel like a part of it is also this movie had a lot of super, super bright imagery on the screen. Like Kamala's outfit is like a super, super...
It is almost an insultingly bright.
But you know what I mean? Like super bright blue and red and gold. And even the villain, like her powers are super bright purple. The only time I feel like there was dark scenes was on Hala.
Right.
Which works in terms of storytelling and like creating a mood and, you know, setting the scene kind of a thing. But I like that. I like how bright everything is. I think it looks really good. It makes everybody on screen look really good.
I would agree.
Yeah, I think in terms of visuals, like there's few times where I feel like Marvel does something that doesn't look good.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the jokes in the movie land pretty well too.
I agree.
And again, we're giving a hard time to Captain Marvel, but like she is still enjoyable in the movie. Just I think she is from the three leads the most stoic, but like
it's weird that she feels the least developed.
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like she could so benefit from like a show that just each episode is a different fucking point in her life. Like,
yeah.
Like just so we could get some info on what she's fucking doing in space. Like, I don't know. But I again, the fight scenes for the most part all really interesting. Sadly, the villain's just kind of another one-note Marvel villain.
Yeah.
I think that it could have used some more time, but what we got works well for what we did. Works well, and it makes it very easy to watch and like. And I am bummed that it is performing so poorly because I feel like people are going to take the wrong lessons from it.
Well, I feel like with I feel like after this kind of like news cycle ends, I feel like once it gets, I don't know if this is weird to say, but I feel like once it's put on Disney Plus for streaming and people feel like, okay, I don't have to spend movie money to go watch this, I feel like people are going to appreciate the movie more.
Yeah, I would like to hope so.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, just enjoying it like popcorn in my living room kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I think that will boost the movie, which isn't great,
yeah.
But it's better than people just hating on it. Like, I just want people to watch it instead of, because I don't like blind hate.
Right, yeah.
Like, if you're going to be an hater, be an educated hater.
Yeah. I would also like to, at least for a hot moment, talk about the ending and then mid-credit scene.
Sure.
So the ending, we find out that Monica, right? Because that's the ending, and the mid-credit is the one with Kamala?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. The ending, we find out that Monica, who closed the gate from the other side for some reason that didn't really feel like it was justified, is now in a different universe.
Yeah, she's an alternate.
Yeah. And she sees her mom. That's not actually her mom, who is binary. What did she say her name was?
I think you said it was binary,
And
which
it
I
wasn't?
think is correct.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So anyway,
We think it's binary,
yeah.
but I think in I thought it was like an alternate Marvel.
Anyway, but not the point. A character walks in the scene, and it is Hank McCoy, Beast himself, and
X-Men.
yeah. But I would like to put this out there that we have seen almost every single X-Men movie with a practical Beast.
Yeah.
For the love of God, don't make him CGI. Like, it looked fine, but we know it looks good in practical, so why not keep it a practical character? It
feels
would
like
be better.
it's almost like
I want to look
Wouldn't
at it
it
and be like,
cost
that
them-
is a human that got turned into a blue furry dude.
wouldn't it cost them more money to have him CG
Probably.
than a person with
But also,
prosthetics?
it should look like a dude that got turned into a blue dude with fur.
No, I agree.
Like-
but I'm just saying, like, and it's almost funny to me that they have.
I'm hoping that it's just like a one-off. Like,
I'm
if he shows
hoping-
up again, it's a person.
Yeah,
I'm hoping.
I feel like it's weird. The thing with CG, especially with characters that are not fully human looking, can go one of two ways. Where because they're not fully human looking, you can kind of get away with it
Right.
and it works. Or in the case of She-Hulk and, in my opinion, this version of Beast with his CG face, because there's a lot of, especially in the face, human elements there, but it's just slightly wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So like I had said originally with She-Hulk, it's just like slightly wrong.
Yeah,
where it feels weird to look at it,
Yeah,
almost
like-
uncanny valley.
Like, I think it looks fine.
I
I just don't want it.
No, I don't think it looks particularly bad.
Yeah.
I just think it's slightly off,
Yeah.
similar to the problem with She-Hulk, in that, does the character model look bad? No, not by any means. If anything, I actually think the character model looks really good for the short amount of time that they had to work on that.
Yeah.
The problem is, when you have such human features, unless it's a person,
Yeah.
it just feels weird.
It just feels unnecessary, especially for Hank, when we've seen it done in every other X-Men movie, and it looks
if
good.
the X-Men movies in the 2000s can put Hank in full prosthetics and it looked that good, 2023 has literally no excuse.
Yeah, I hope that if the character shows up again, it's practical. And then the mid-credit scene. By the way, there is no end credit scene. Don't stay.
Yeah, we sat there the whole time. Not worth it.
Not worth it. The mid-credit scene was just fun.
It was fun. It was very cute.
Kamala trying to be Nick Fury for the Young Avengers.
Yeah.
Recruiting Kate Bishop.
And Kate Bishop's like, I'm 23.
Yeah. And just being like, I put out some feelers. You know, there's Ant-Man's kid. So what do you say? You're in?
Huh?
Like, no, like.
Oh, yeah. So what do you say you're in?
Yeah. And it's just like again, it's just her being in the dark in the shadow, trying to be all cool, and Kate's just like, why the fuck are you in my house? Get
Well,
out of
I
here.
was just doing a little reading.
Yeah. So I thought that was very fun and leading to Young Avengers, and also I'm just happy that I got to see Haley Steinfeld.
I feel like I said this before, but Haley Steinfeld, I feel like, is so perfect for Kate Bishop.
She is.
She just she nails that role, but also she's just a really talented actress, so I
Yeah.
think she could nail basically anything. So maybe
probably
I'm just
could nail anything.
Maybe I'm just personally biased, but I think it works really well. She's just so cute and fresh.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she's like our age, but
Yeah, I think she is.
she's just adorable.
Yeah, great Kate Bishop. But yeah, so that was also very fun. And leading to Young Avengers whenever the fuck that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I feel like we were saying mostly bad things, but like, it's fun.
Yeah.
You could pick apart most movies, but I think that this movie deserved to have its critiques brought up. But again, I want the last thing that you get is that it is fun. It's quick and it's very enjoyable. Like I said, I gave it a 4 out of 5, which for my movie rankings is just to be a 4 is just entertaining and worth rewatching. Like, which is why quite a few of the recent Marvel movies are that Thor: Love and Thunder one, because it's just like, yeah, it gets me through and it's funny enough. I can rewatch this.
I would put it at 3.
Well, 3 is entertaining but nothing special. Like I wouldn't go back.
I just
to it
think
necessarily.
for me at least, Love and Thunder.
Oh, you Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
You would put it at 3.
It is just it's.
I just like Jane so much.
I understand. It's just so heavy-handed with everything.
I know,
I
but I
can't-
want more Mighty Thor so bad.
And honestly,
She's the only reason that movie's a 4 is because I like
don't know.
Mighty Thor.
I don't know if this is bad to say, but if that movie was just Jane and her being Mighty Thor, I would have.
It would be better.
I would have loved
100%.
it. The fact that Thor is in the movie, the fact that we get like a glimpse of the Guardians in the beginning of the movie,
No, I think that if
King Valkyrie being in the movie, the villain being in the movie, I don't need anybody else.
If Thor 4 was just Mighty Thor, it should have been, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it would have
if
been
it
a much more interesting movie.
If it was just Mighty Thor and they had all the serious beats that they were having with like her battling the cancer and then Mjolnir,
infinitely better movie.
I think that movie would have been held up, honestly, as like
A main
a return to form for Marvel.
A main female character. B, battling cancer.
Yeah.
Like, would have been an insanely good movie.
Yeah.
And they undercut it with Thor. So, I don't know. But she's why it's a 4. Because I just like her
I
so
agree.
much.
I just think I'm the opposite, where I feel like everything else drags it down too much for me to say it's a 4, you know?
Right.
But I
Anyway.
would agree that this is also a 4.
Yeah.
The Marvels.
Yeah, the Marvels. So anyway, that is the Marvels. That's our review. I would say go watch it.
I would agree. I would say go watch it. I think it's really fun. And if you think movie theater tickets are too expensive, I understand.
That's fair. I have a list.
But no, I thought it was really fun.
Yeah. I agree, and I think it's worth going to see.
And it's fun even if you're not fully caught up.
Yeah.
Like, you truly don't need, if you feel like you need to do homework, I get it. It can be overwhelming, just the volume of content. But realistically, for most of Marvel stuff, you can go in completely blind and you can pick up the pieces, you know?
Yeah. Now I have to go watch Loki at some point.
Yeah, I have to watch
2's
season
over.
2.
Yeah, season 2's over.
Yeah, Mark just finished it.
Oh, season 2?
Yeah.
Watch it without you?
He always does.
Oh,
Because
alright.
he knows if he waits for me, he's going to be waiting a
That's
fucking
fair.
lifetime.
Yeah, that's fair. I probably wouldn't wait either. All right. Well, hey, thanks for watching and listening to this episode, or this special episode of the Vaguely Anime Podcast. Now I got to edit this in a day, which is fine because I just also edited the episode that came out today in a day. I woke up at 9 or got back from the gym at 9 and went, fuck, I didn't edit the episode yet. I hate when I do that. I hate it so much because I'm like, I got to get this out in an hour. So
And
it can
you're like,
render
I
and
played
export and
myself.
upload. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. So yeah, thanks for watching this special episode. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode that came out on Monday, which is also about Marvel, but not planned. And the anime club for that coming up would be Blue Lock next week.
Yes.
Yes, next week will be Blue Lock for you guys. So don't forget if you're interested, go check out our anime club on Blue Lock. That will be coming out Monday. Just if you haven't seen it, we give the same general vibe that we did here. We start with non-spoilers. We go into spoilers afterwards. Yeah. So let us know what you thought of the Marvels if you saw it, or if you're not going to see it, let us know why.
Give us your
opinions.
essay in the comments.
Let us know what you thought of our thoughts and why we're wrong.
Even though I give only good opinions.
Yeah, we only give the right opinion. That was a bad high five. Anyway, let us know what you thought in the comments. Whether you agree with us or you don't agree with us. We'd love to hear what you guys have to think about it. And we will see you guys for the Anime Club on Monday.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Like, comment,
Bye.
subscribe. Yeah. Oh, Cat the Moonstar on Twitch. Bye.